Welcome to a cutting-edge stadium hosting two cutting-edge sides, both determined to win and both promising to put on quite a show. There's been a lot of talk this week emanating from the French and the Australian camps as to the expansive, positive, attacking style they like to play. Wallaby coach Jones has predicted a really open test with lots of ball movement. We're just minutes away from kick-off. All indications are that this match could be a cracker bomb.
It certainly could be. The atmosphere is absolutely electric around us here. And in fact, the stadium announcer only had to say the first name and the crowd was shouting back the surname. So these people are here to watch a team that they know a lot about and to watch a team that they know a lot about play a lot of good attacking rugby.
Well, France, of course, are on a 7-match winning streak. They're the Grand Slam champions. Australia have not lost in Paris for over a decade. It's crunch time, and something has to give.
I think you're right there, Will. You know, looking at the surface today, it's in good nick. The night has dried up. We had the little showers earlier, but I like to call a game usually. I like to know what I'm going to say, and they're starting on the Frenchies there, but I certainly cannot pick a team here.
Well, this is the French team. It's a team that oozes attitude, power and pace in the pack. We've got Olivier Mouliot and Sylvain Marconnet providing the destructive scrummaging power. Serge Betson, Emile Aronordiki and Olivier Magnier make up this beautifully balanced back row. Fabien Pelouse binds the pack together. And this back row that we're seeing now, Serge Betson's for one, it is first rate.
It is quality. Olivier Magnier probably one of the quickest out there. And we mentioned they're going to have two almost open side type players, and there's their number 8, Emile Aronordiki. Difficult name to say, difficult man to handle on the park as well.
And the Toulouse halfbacks of Jean-Baptiste Delisle, of course, know each other extremely well. And Frédéric Michalak, well, it's a big night for him as well.
Certainly is. Great passer of the ball, great kicker of the ball. Let's just hope he keeps getting the ball on the front foot and getting out to guys like Cedric Clements.
Yeah, this blistering pace out wide. Yannick Jauzion, of course, came in late. Damien Try pulled up in training on Wednesday, and so Jauzion gets his chance, and he's up alongside Tony Marsh, who is such a powerhouse. Rougerie, well, he can finish as well with the best of them. And Nicolas Bruce, well, he's no slouch either.
No, he's not. Devastating backs there. And I think the platform's going to be, coming from the forwards and trying to get it out to them. The one thing Australia understand, and here's George Gregan, the general of the game, is that they've got to keep it away from that French team.
Well, it's a big test for the front five for Australia. France reckon that they might have an edge there. And it's Phil Young, Jeremy Paul and Al Baxter, the first line of attack or defence. Harrison and Vickerman, well, they're both over 2 metres tall. And what a back row that the Australians have got as well. George Smith and Phil Ward, two real flyers.
They are. They've got a... Well, there's a man who's displaced David Lyons, very difficult thing to do, Johnny Rowe, and he'll be, locking the scrum at the back.
George Gregan, the general. Stephen Larkham runs a game with such efficiency as well. Lottie Takiri, well, France are saying this week that they're afraid of him. Maybe a little bit of kidology. Matt Giteau, maybe the new big thing coming out of Australia, so highly rated. And Marsh was calling Mortlock the best 13 in the world. Clyde Rathbone, well, he can finish. He is so quick as well.
Nice thing about these back three is that they've all played a lot of tests, scored a lot of tries. Chris Latham's there, and he manages to keep Matt Rogers out of the side, which is a feat in itself. He also manages to score a lot of points for Australia.
Well, France have been busy talking up Australia, most pertinently the backs, calling Stephen Larkham the best fly half in the world. Bit of kidology all week, and this French side, well, they really, really want to put on a show tonight. Led by Fabien Pelouse, winning his 94th cap, and quite a reception.
Quite exciting for Fabien tonight. He overtakes the record of the famous Biarritz fullback and winger and French international Serge Blanco.
And former Australian international Garrick Morgan, who's playing for the French club side Pau, has warned the Wallabies that France will be hugely aggressive and try and put Australia off their game early. Will France try and turn the green and golds black and blue? We'll see.
certainly it's going to be a big match. You've got the big outside backs. I'm looking forward to the forward battle because I think the French are dominant there, and the Australians know how to control the ball. Are they going to be able to keep it away from them? And is Chris Wright going to be able to handle it if they aren't?
First of all, the national anthems. Excellent travelling support for Australia. Green and gold dotted all round this stadium. France are the dominant power in the Northern Hemisphere at the moment. The 2004 Grand Slam underlined that. But green and gold will not be France's favourite colours. In the last 10 clashes, France have won only 2. Both sides are so pumped for this one.
They certainly are. You saw that. I saw the grim looks on the Australian backline. They were passing the ball in between each other, talking sternly to one another. I think they're expecting to be peppered with a couple of high up and unders, put a bit of pressure on them, and they understand that they're going to have to fight for every scrap of ball that they've got, and they know that happens with the forwards, and the forwards are out there to do a job of serving up their ball on a platter to these guys who can score tries from absolutely anywhere.
Well, Australia have been in camp at home and had a couple of weeks together on tour, including a match, of course, against Scotland. France, on the other hand, have only had 5 days together. Will we see some early rustiness from the home side?
I think the big thing with the French sides is what you know is that you can't expect anything, especially if you think they haven't been together for a while. Then players play like they've been playing together for 10 years, and that is the Gaelic flair, that is the indifference, that is probably what makes them so successful in the very, very big games. I'm just interested to see, it's the beginning of their season, have they got enough ahead of them, have they got enough behind them, have they got enough experience, if you want. There's Chris Wright, he'll be handling it, but have they got enough experience to hold their cool when Australia click into absolute precision mode, the one where they get the ball out to the backs and maintain it for 15, 16 phases?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the players, of course, want to be 100%, but of course the referee, Chris White, will be nervous. Spoke to him earlier and he said he couldn't wait for 9 o'clock. It's been a long day waiting. It's a big game for him. And of course he can affect the result so much. Here we go. Larkham starts this evening kickoff. And Nordique doesn't take that one cleanly.
It's okay.
The referee says play on. The early exchanges will be interesting to see how both sides try and play it. Eddie Jones has been talking up an expansive game. France know they have the grunt up front And they're really hurting Australia now, right from the kickoff, powering their way upfield. Michalak, first touch for him. Josian. Bruce comes in, but Takiri comes in with a thumping hit. Rougerie has nowhere to go.
Massive drive upfield there from the French, and they'll be pleased with that because they wanted to show their dominance early on, and Australia will understand we don't want to let them go, we don't want to let them roll like they have been there, and it certainly set up a platform. They'll be disappointed with the execution, but now they understand that they can get it.
So these scrums will be so important. France will really fancy their chances at scrum time. As for Australia, well, they may not be the most powerful scrummaging outfits around, but they're one of the smartest, as England found out in the World Cup final.
They certainly did. I think George will be having a chat to Chris Wright. They would have prepared meticulously for this beforehand. They'll understand where they could potentially get an upper hand. You can see Al Baxter just holding until he's in the right position.
First reset of the evening. Gregan, cap number 104, has got the ball now. Now Australia just setting themselves up midfield through Sterling Mortlock, and the penalty goes Australia's. France going off their feet. Aeronautica pinged there.
Difficult call there. Betson and Aeronautica both very, very quick onto the ball. What impressed me was how quickly Australia got their ball out of the scrum. They obviously realised Elisald is a past master at putting pressure, and George Gregan has been preparing as always for just that. But Australia looked clinical there. I think they knew exactly where they were going. They looked like they had 5 or 6 phases ahead of them, and the thing that got in the way was Aeronautica's hand coming over to poach the ball.
Contested it, the line-up, but it comes back Australia's way. Bone, so powerful and strong, very, very quick as well. Both back threes are so dangerous. Smith had a dynamite game against Scotland. Australia working their way through the phases. Gregan and Larkham, and now the tackles are coming in from France. Penalty going the home side's way now.
A lot of good pressure there from the French backs. Rougerie coming off his wing and putting in the effort there. I think, it was Heymans coming off his wing, making a great tackle. Not the best option there. There wasn't a lot of space, but I'll be disappointed with not. In fact, turned out to be a good result for them. I'll be disappointed with what happened there, Australia. Serge Betson has probably made 6 tackles already in the first 2 minutes of the game.
France just about finding their touch. Of course, it's vital because they know from the penalty that they'll have the line out thrown. And now they get the crowd and the noise begins to rise. First time in the Australian 22. Aeronautica takes that for loose. Now it's driven up hard by Marconnet. Ball whips out. Michalak, beautiful running from France. So close, and the tackles come in. Heymans is just dragged down short, but this is an excellent chance for France now. Josian deciding to go himself. The Wallabies under a lot of pressure. Betson working the short side. Gets hit by a double tackle, but the ball comes back cleanly. Marconnet, and now they want to set it up, and Australia very quick to try and pull that maul down legally. Josian with the big missed pass, and Bruce is going. He's so close. So close, it's desperate from the Wallabies. The referee was well positioned. Oh, that was close.
Great wide pass again. Yeah, the wide pass worked the first time, and it looked like it was a desperate tackle for one of the forwards, which actually just stopped him. And I think even Josian had another go at it after that, but Gregan and Larkham and bodies everywhere from Australians. They really scrambled to stop that try.
And now France, how will they play it? Will they try and squeeze Australia up front to start with? So many options. Rougerie's come really wide for that crossfield kick. Takiri hasn't seen him at the moment.
He has. He's set up nicely on the touchline here. The Australians look like they've got the the inside-out defence.
France are trying to pile their way up front. Now it's the turn of the backs. Michalak, he hits it across. He's gone for Rougerie, and Takiri just about gets a hand in. That was so close.
Excellent reaction there from Takiri. You pointed out quite rightly, he certainly hadn't seen it until the kick came. And you'll see him scrambling here, but it's his experience on the rugby league field. He knows once the ball's gone over the try line, he can knock it away. He did exceptionally well there. Fraction of a foot just stopping that try.
So Takiri, as it's been called, has deliberately knocked the ball out of play, so it's a penalty to France. Can't knock it over the dead ball line intentionally. So it's a penalty to France, and they're going to go for the 3 points.
Good communication there. France just looking very together, good solid scrum. Rougerie was out wide. Michalak knew where he was and looked to put the ball across, and now Pelouse turned around. There was absolutely no discussion about it. They realized where they needed to be, and that was 3 points ahead, as opposed to trying and not getting a score on the board.
So Jean-Baptiste Elisal. The bookies could not call this game. They thought it was going to be so close. And a pretty straightforward 3 points there on offer. Well, even this early in the game, you don't know how important it could be.
You certainly don't. He was knocking them over easily in the warm-up to the game. Looked like a definite 3 points, but unfortunately just shaved the left hand upright.
Larkham decides to bang this one long. Rougerie, so nearly plucked that one, taking it up. And the hit comes in. Mannion now. Kiri now, Baxter driving back. Al Baxter did a really good job there. Michalak. Ooh. What impressive offensive defence from the Wallabies there. Josion knew he was right in the thick of it there.
Very big hit there from full war. He's a good tackler, he's good on the ball. Best thing he does here is get out the way and let his compatriot, I think it's John Rowe, get over and steal the ball.
Josion had the door slammed in his face there. So now the spotlight turns to Matt Giteau. Eddie Jones plucked him from relative obscurity. He hadn't played Super 12 rugby when Giteau made his debut. He was just 20 then. Touted as the next big thing. So, Matt Giteau, huge noise and boos, lines up his 38-metre shot at goal. He's got the distance and he's got the accuracy. After being on their own line, the Wallabies have struck back.
They'll be very pleased with that. They'll count it as a 6-point turnaround. And they certainly they understand the power and the pressure of the points. George Gregan pointing to the goals as soon as he could after the penalty was given.
So Giteau picks up where he left off against Scotland, 5 from 5 against Scotland. Still the 100% record on tour. Gregan. Larkham now moving the ball, and here is Takiri, who has a little bit of space, not much, but it's been plucked by Marsh, and now this is dangerous. This is really dangerous, and Mannion takes it on. Beautiful interhandling from France. Quick ball from Betson. Elisal flings that one wide. Bruce so close not long ago, and trying to go himself. He's over. What a reply from France.
Absolutely electric rugby. Australia electing to run out of their 22, taking the pressure off themselves. They didn't count on Tony Marsh being there with a presence of mind for a fantastic intercept. And the attacking flair and the ball spread out to the backs. Unbelievable running from the French three quarters.
Dummy switch from Heymans, just bought Bruce just that metre. France from the kickoff have showed how dangerous they are.
You know, you've got to look at the Australians. They've prepared exceptionally well for this game. Usually 2 passes out to Chris Latham with a big booming left boot, and he let the ball go. To be fair, it was the inside pass from Lottie to Carey inside, which Tony Marsh, I think, had anticipated, grabbed it with one hand and turned around and started the attack.
Lassalle has a look, hits the upright, but it flicks the wrong way. So 2 points the difference.
I think any concerns of a wet pitch not allowing for running rugby are out the window by now, and both sides know that they're in for an absolute cracker of a game.
Well, for all Australia's dominance over France, the Wallabies have not played here for 3 years. And in that time of Australia have caught a bad case of travel sickness. They failed to win against any of the top 6 ranked teams in the world in those 3 years away from home. They want to set that right. They're desperate to address it. France want it not to be this weekend. Latham looks up and he thinks he's seen a hole, unloads it to Takiri, and this game is really opening up. Michalak makes the tackle. Regan happy for the ball to be taken on another couple of metres. Now the skipper gets hold of it. Larkham, Giteau. Now the missed pass and the tackle comes up there from Heymans. Just about snuffs out that attack. George Smith, beautiful take from Larkham, trying to keep ball there for the Wallabies. Brave. Smith, big and strong. This back row battle is going to be fascinating. Giteau working his way back, didn't think there was anything out wide there. Australia working their way through the phases. Still the short side. Baxter takes that ball just before he's tackled. Paul in a touch.
Just a little bit too much down the blind side there. Jeremy Paul and George Gregan know each other exceptionally well. I'll be disappointed with that. I think they had a backline outside them, but it just shows the rigour and the vigour of the French, you know, attacking defence. Great work there by Heymans, coming in off his wing again and just catching man and ball.
Coming up so aggressively, getting hold of Mortlot, who is such a dangerous runner if given space. Heymans closed that one down. Line out working well for France, and now they'll take the metres, trying to grind their way over the halfway line. Chris White keeping a close eye on things. And now it's Michalak. Josiot ducks his way inside Giteau's tackle and over the halfway line. For a big man, he is very slippery. Michalak ducks his way inside. Elisal pops it up. Batson. And now it's Rougerie coming off his wing, looking for work, as all good wingers do. Michalak, Josiot resetting the ball, options left and right now. Michalak putting boot to ball. Nathan wants this to go over the try line. He's got his wish. Just drag Betson in towards him. Well, Eddie Jones promised a bit of ball in hand, and Australia and France are showing that they are not scared to give the ball a little bit of air.
That's right. France, they'd be a bit disappointed with that. Almost much ado about nothing. They went left, they went right, they went left again, but the kick didn't amount to much.
Rougerie looks up, tries to find a hole, finds nothing. Ball spits out, and now Michalak. Well read by Oakham. Outside is 22. Gets his way down the tram line, and Michalak read it. Tries to return the compliment. Ball bounces up for Takiri, who slipped there. The referee said it was a forward knock on there. Well, the surface at first glance looked pretty good. Takiri wouldn't agree.
I think you can see just on the slippery, a little bit slippery underfoot, not affecting the ball much in the passing, but the odd guy's lost his footing just as Lottie Takiri did there. And Chris Wright called that a knock on. I'm not sure, did it go forward or looked like it might have gone backwards? Retained a bit of control, a bit like a circus act in a way, but certainly Chris Wright judged it a knock on, and it puts France in a very attacking position.
Well, Lottie Takiri, Pelouse says, is such a dangerous player. He says the French are afraid of him, a little psychology perhaps, but he's been talked up in a major way. But there are so many good strike runners. Rougerie to Takiri, and on the bench there's Wendell Saylor, Matt Rogers, Poitrenaud and Dominici.
The nice thing is all these guys love ball in hand, and it looks like their 9s and 10s are willing to give it to them.
Nordicki, Magnet, Michelak now feeds Rougerie, and Rougerie to Bruce. Raymond ducks his way inside. Quick feet, buying him a little bit of time. Alissal, Josian, so often the focal point at 12 for France. Michelak tries. Cheeky drop goal, but that wasn't the prettiest.
Dummy to the right and Winfred on the left. I would have been impressed if he'd done that. He's not the best kicker out of hand, as he's proved a couple of times tonight. Pushing towards the corners, I think, is what he's trying to do, but he'll be a little bit disappointed with his kicking out of hand, but he's passing the ball so beautifully to release those backs.
Larkham thumps it long again. Rougerie to Michelak, who's taking a little bit of flack in the local press about not stepping up in the really big games. Chance tonight. Latham. Alissal, that went backwards. Michelak. The ball too cleanly, George Gregan. Now to Larkham. Bone. Caught. Ball come back. Gregan. Larkham, they work so well together, those two. Been in the saddle for so long now, so fluent.
They are an outstanding combination. It's almost like a sixth sense. George Gregan knows he can almost flick out the pass without even looking, because Stephen Larkham is in the right position to receive it. If Larkham goes down at the loose ruck, Gregan comes in and plays 10 and vice versa.
Big reset. Interesting how the fly halves go tonight. They got double trouble. Both teams, for all intents and purposes, have two open sides each: Warren, Smith, Magnier and Betson.
I think the special thing so far is that the pressure is telling a little bit on the 10s, but it just means they're shifting it, which gets into the wings, which is exciting. But 2 of the 3 penalties that have happened have been because the open sides have been putting pressure on the 10 and 12.
Pelouse takes it, and he really is a central pillar to this French pack. They work their way upfield, trying to suck in this Australian defence. French knew they were getting the penalty. Number 1, he says. Bill Young.
Bill Young, Al Baxter, Jeremy Paul too. I mean, these guys have got a lot of experience. They don't have the best, certainly don't have the best history in terms of penalties and refereeing, but they've got so much sort of streetwise, or a massive amount of streetwise element to their game, which gives them an advantage. The French would have picked that out as well during the week, and everybody would have alerted Chris White as to the fact that the 2 front rows might be having a go at each other.
Yeah, it's a game as well to try and get the ear of the referee. Maybe the Australians might feel that they might have just the edge because they're English speaking. The French might feel they've got the edge because they are working with a Northern Hemisphere rep. Alissal decides to let his forwards pile on. They're beginning to hurt Australia. Side flip there. Pelouse goes back. Baxter is all over him. Alissal, Michelak, William Servat of Toulouse now Tries to make another metre, and Betson tries to clear that ball quickly. Michalak has a go himself now, over the gain line. France now gathering momentum. Marsh flips it, and Aeronautic works his way out of that tackle. And France pile on towards this Australian line. Fusion tries to clip it and collect himself, just put a little bit too much on it.
Just caught too much of the ball there, but the French looking very organised. They've got their back line. This is the chip over the top, and I think he just put too much on it, and it, on the wet surface it slipped away from him. Not a bad option because there wasn't too much covering, but this is where Aeronautic slipped out of a tackle and took them 10-15 metres up the field, which really set a platform for France to keep on attacking.
Now, Latham got hold of him, but Aeronautic just stayed on his feet that metre or so, and the forwards drove him forward. Vickerman there receiving attention, 6'7", the tallest on the pitch. He's got a high work rate, and he's going to need it because he's going to need to put his shoulder to the wheel. The French, as they've showed, are quite happy to maul their way upfield. There's Jules Blanc putting his slant on the game. Time on, says a referee. Markham, bang it long yet again. Yet again, Rougerie gets hold of it. Flowing hair. John Rowe and War with the tackles there. It's Toulouse, cut down at the knees. Holding on.
Good effort there from Jeremy Paul, acting like a fourth loose forward, just straight over the ball, putting his hands in and stopping the release there. Toulouse just couldn't get it away, and Chris Wright was right on the spot. Completely correct there, because that ball should have been stolen. But you can see this game is going to be fought in inches turning into feet, feet turning into yards, because nobody is giving one little bit.
Wallabies haven't had too much territory. They've been on the back foot. Markham will try and orchestrate something special. Now, what can he conjure? His forwards need to get hold of the ball. They've got Gregan. He's caught by his ankles. Now Gregan trying to get his backs running off him. Picked up well by Latham, and he says, right, I'm going to bash this one upfield, give my forwards the focal point. Watson with that tackle round the fringe. Gregan, Larkham saw that it was being closed down very quickly, so he decided to take the hit himself. In order to keep nearly penalised. Australia playing with patience.
Ball still Australia's then. The most important thing I think there was Chris Latham said, right, I'm going to tuck the ball under the arm and I'm going to go 5 metres forward. The rest of the Australian pack are trying to maybe do a little bit too much. I know I was accused of it in my day. It's happened before. Over-elaborate. I mean, Jeremy Paul did exceptionally well to hang on to this one, but the guy who got a little bit of go forward was the guy who said, right, let me actually fight for the yards, and that was Chris Latham.
And the crowd are on the backs of the Australian front row straight away. Will Young likes to be known as the battler according to the Wallaby tour guide on this near side. Up against Marconnet Milieu, crashing horns with Baxter. Rowe. Resets it. Gregan, Larkham, the option runners, and Giteau, Latham, Takiri. France are up very quickly, but Takiri is world class. He can work his way out of most tight corners. Latham sidestepped his way towards the touchline, but kept it in for Gregan. Larkham now. Giteau. Ball is clean now for the Wallabies. Larkham and Takiri. Lovely handling from Takiri. And the referee's going to pull them back.
Very unlucky there. Good work, it looked like, from Lotte Takiri. I'd like to see this again. Looked like he'd held the two. Very smart play by Lotte Takiri, just hanging onto the legs as he went past. Not to say that Sterling Mortlock wouldn't have at least given it a go, though, but very clever play off the ball, and fair dues to Chris White, who picked that up.
Yeah, close but no cigar. White, one of the best whistlers in the game. He was alive to that.
Crowd getting a little bit edgy here. The knowledge of the French crowd of what happens in the line-out, in the maul, and the scrum, it really is a part of the game that they enjoy. And every scrum, when it gets reset, there's a big "oh" from the crowd, and they sort of understand what the goings on, or the lack of goings on in there, I think.
They come to be entertained. If Marcanet goes down, well, they'll entertain themselves. So Australia, who beat Scotland 31-14 and scored 4 tries inside the first half an hour up at Murrayfield, haven't managed to start so smartly here. France will feel they're a different proposition.
Certainly will. The French team are looking for a victory here today, and I think they're doing it in an exciting manner as well. It's a nice mix and a balance of forwards and backs.
It's worked so far this first half. He has his great pause on it. Shellac. Saad Palouse. Holding the ball. So that Saad. Nasty one to take, and he couldn't quite do it.
Difficult to pick up around his bootlaces, and he just knocked it on. Good effort there. It's not the kind of ball you want, especially in these conditions.
Yeah, Josian was France's International Player of the Year. He was on the bench, but Try is injured, so Josian has his chance, his opportunity to impress and keep that shirt.
He'll relish the opportunity because he understands the strength of Try's got a fantastic kicking game as well as being a good distributor.
Rowe, Larkham. Oh! Mania stuck out of hand and he caught Larkham. Larkham does not look too happy about that.
I think Olivier Magnier has never been known as a dirty player. You can clearly see he had the jersey as opposed to the neck. Very difficult one to call. Good effort from Chris White. I don't think he's going to give him a yellow card here, but he's certainly giving him a talking to, and Stephen Larkham understands the power of the penalty and will have known that from the second he had a hand around his neck.
Stephen Larkham catches his breath. Guiteau pumps that one into French territory. Larkham's up and running. Touted by many as the best fly half in the world. He really is the ignition switch for the backs.
Great distributor, great handler of the ball. Certainly a fantastic guy to play with. Not that fun to play against because he's got a tap of control on the whole game.
Snatched there by Justin Harrison and Gregan now, and Guiteau takes it up. Gregan and Rowe is straight through. Beautiful line from him, and now he unloads to Takiri. France race back. Gregan wants this quick ball, and instead he will get a penalty. Possibly a trade-off there from France. They know what a dangerous side the Australians are when they get through like this.
Great run there from Rowe, and Takiri hungry for the ball, going straight through, and there the dive over. Possibly, like you said, a trade-off. I think they understand the difference between allowing Australia to score and putting 3 points on the board.
Rowe took that through. And he played 5/8 until he was 19 or so, and John Rowe is touted as one of the quickest number 8s the Wallabies have ever produced, and he really raced his way through. But here is Gitter. And Kid Dynamite by the Australian kicking coach Ben Perkins. May look easy, but in front of thousands of screaming Parisians, I doubt he felt that was the simplest of kick.
This is the incident here. Cedric Hammonds just dives over. It's touch and go, you know. I don't think he was behind the last man's feet. What he did probably wasn't incorrect and certainly deserved a penalty, but the fault came in where he did it from, not necessarily the action itself.
So Australia now an inch into the lead. Michelak restarts. Beautiful pluck there. Safe ball for Regan. Quite work. Zal now to Bruce. And they're opening it up, France. Giteau came up and smashed Michelak. Rougerie looking to take Takiri on the outside. No chance, says Takiri. Marsh bobbles it back to Elisald and Michelak. Betson. Servat thumps his way forward over the top of Smith. And now maybe numbers for France. Josian, the tackles come thumping in. Mortlot makes the hit there. Rougerie, Elisald, Betson, Palouse. Benet may not be the quickest, but he's pretty solid. Michelak has a go himself now. Let go Aussie, screams Chris White, the referee. Anya. And they're really trying to hurt the Australians. France can't quite break them down yet. Betson. The tackles come in, another double tackle. The Wallabies are determined in their defence, and Marcanet again, head down, trying to bulldoze his way forward. Ball is clean again. Josian. And the Wallabies were so patient, and the error eventually came.
Double knock on, just ending it there. Looking for a twist, not having enough on it, and then Matt Giteau knocked it on as well. But Sherbet, excellent defence from the Australians, just holding, talking, communicating, not panicking. A French side with a lot of interaction between big, strong forwards and very fast backs.
Marsh came in on that scissors, and Josian didn't look as though he knew that was happening. Matt Giteau doesn't look too happy here.
Looks like he's had a little bit of a bump on the knee. Certainly was involved in a couple of those tackles. Looks very uncomfortable. But great talking between the Australian forwards and the backs, because there was a case there was a hooker running at a centre, and then vice versa, centre running at a hooker, and there wasn't a lot of panic. This is a side, I think, that have been training very hard on maintaining their lines and maintaining their discipline.
Giteau is up and hobbling, and he'll try and run that one off. The boys up front now for the moment.
As the scrum breaks down there again, I think looks like Matt Rogers or Elton Flatley will possibly be replacing Matt Giteau, but they've got a couple of combinations there. They've all played in all three positions in the back line.
Elisald reads row. There's almost an interception there. The referee and his whistle soon stopped Manya's charge to the line.
Olivier Manya's, what an athlete. He had a career blossoming in long laugh or long skiing beforehand, so he's exceptionally fit and spends a lot of time doing that in the winter, maintains his fitness and his strength. He was just, I think, on the cusp of offsides there, but Australia were lucky to get a penalty there as opposed to what they could have ended up with.
Olivier Manya's is actually in dispute with his club at the moment. He's not getting picked by Montferrand, so he's got a point to prove. Listen to Gregan, and now they switch back this way through Giteau. France have read it. And they close down the space. Australia always looking for space. Trying to tie in the forwards there through Rowe. Takiri. About 2 metres to work, so he came back in. He held on too long. No support, says the referee.
Gregan's put a little bit of extra pressure on Takiri again. They're just up the short side. Very difficult call. You know, you haven't got the back line set up quite out on the right. You probably want one more phase to let them do that. But then you're putting one man up against three, and Lote Takiri unfortunately went in, as you can see there, but just didn't have enough men around him to clear the ball.
Marking it down for the second time. Michelak punches that one upfield. Didn't have much of an angle. Didn't want to make a mistake, so wasn't too greedy. Up to the 22 now. So William Savat just checks his call. Hits the target perfectly. Missile, Josian steps his way out, but Larkham read that. Michelak. War with the tackle. Savat, head down, barreling his way forward. And that's what the French wanted. Rougerie, tackle from Guiteau. Missile digs. Milieu drives up. Missile, Marsh, he's physical and strong. And now France try and pile into the guts of the Wallaby defence, straight through the middle. Inside is Magna. Wallaby defence holding strong. Now France decide to do it in an old-fashioned but very effective way, mauling their way upfield. It's out and it's loose. Rougerie was down on that. He needed to be so quick. Wallabies came piling up around the fringes from France. Betson had to catch that ball and duck down quickly because the Wallabies real quick up in defence. Michelak and Heymans. Australia are pushing France backwards, and so Elisal goes for the drop goal. No luck. 22.
Just shaving the upright there, but the Australian defence has been absolutely magnificent. Here's the kick now, he sets up nicely, and it just shaves away on the right-hand side. The Australian defence has been, there's obviously an incredible amount of preparation going in. The guys are calling the French forwards by name and first name. I've got Betson, you take Pelouse. The guys are looking up early and getting themselves in position because they know how hard and fast these guys can attack.
France let that ball bounce and into the 22. Bruce has a lot of time to try and make a good touch. There was nothing of the sort, so that long drop out again worked for the Wallabies. They had possession nearly up to the 10-metre line, but France now trying to push the Wallabies back. Larkham mixing it up. It's a greasy surface. Michelak spirals that one downfield. Gregan goes back, Latham's with him. Latham has the better angle. Gives that one a hefty clip.
Good interplay there by two old campaigners. Georgie Gregan got the call from Chris Latham inside him, who we all know has got a magnificent left boot. And he drove the French back to the 10-yard line so that they didn't have too much of an attacking platform.
France 5, Australia 6. Gregan would dearly love to take a French scalp here. Tap back from Magna to Betson. Elisal, Michelak into injury time now. Takiri takes that one, he has time. Latham steaming up outside him. Gregan working that short side. Latham could go nowhere, but reset it because Marsh was there waiting. Gregan Gregan, Larkham, and Paul. Still keeping the ball in hand. George Smith was upended, but crucially he got the ball back. Takiri, lovely hands, maybe a little bit of room here. Latham inside, and Gregan is away. He knows he can make it. He's stretching his way home. George Gregan in injury time.
Fantastic stretch of the ball. Working up the side, I criticised him 10 minutes ago for doing exactly that, but it's turned into a try just by sheer resilience and interplay between some of the best players in the world, using the blind side and their skills to combine. There we go, it goes outside to Chris Latham and back inside to Gregan. It's about here he knows he's got to run into the try line. He understands that he's got Hammonds coming across, but he knows he's got enough steam to get over. Fantastic play by the little Aussie general, George Gregan.
Wonderful Wallaby passing under a lot of pressure down that short side.
And they'll know how much their try means to them just before halfway.
So it's over to Matt Giddo to try and extend the Wallaby lead. This is just about as difficult as it gets for Gitto, but he'll want to make 7 from his skipper's 5. Gitto just drags that one in front of the face of the posts. George Gregan would have loved that.
He certainly would have. A sterling contribution from him so far in the game. He's been very calm, marshalling his troops on defence, and justly there, working the blind side and getting the ball back and it turning into a try for himself.
Into the 3rd minute of injury time, and Wallabies will not want to let France get anything before half-time, but the advantage is France's. Elisal just pops it inside, and France will be keen to bite back as soon as possible. Michel whips it wide. Toulouse, and still the tackles come in.
Say that time. Don't go in from the outside.
And yet, putting boot to ball. Rosary steaming after this one. Gitto needs to take it. Oh, that was really good. Fancy footwork, and he's away. Takiri. Advantage being played. Mania lined him up. It's loose, it's open. But they'll go back for that first Wallaby knock on. And we have time for the scrum, says referee Chris White.
Almost reminiscent of that, of the first intercept from Tony Marsh. He did exceptionally well and showed how elusive he can be, sore knee or not. Unfortunately, the inside pass went a little bit astray to Takiri, and this is where they lost it again, and Chris White pulled him back to have the scrum.
Australia, they think it's on. They'll run it from anywhere. Aeronautica to Mania. He puts his shoulder to it. Now it's France. Michalak is there!
Absolute magic. I mean, the little magician came in, there wasn't a gap. He created one and then waltzed through it. What a great pass off the ground from Elisal, and it just shows how well these two know each other. And France have hit back just before the halfway. Awesome.
He came onto that ball with such pace.
And he knows. There he goes, straight around Justin Harrison. Scores a try. He knows how much it means, and look how much it means to him.
Oh, he loves to get the ball in his hands. This game is on a knife edge. France hit back through Freddie Michalak.
Well, we said at the beginning it was going to be so close. Very difficult to call. They're going to go in into the sheds at halfway with a 1-point lead.
What a cracking conversion from Elisal, and that conversion has taken France into the lead. The crowd are loving it. What a second 40 we have in store.
Well, the quality of rugby in this game has been exceptional, hasn't it? The pace, electric. French offence versus Aussie defence. Two terrific teams going hammer and tongs. France lead it by a point.
Thanks, Simon. Well, it's sometimes the huge head-to-head clashes do not necessarily live up to the billing and the hype. This is not one of them. It's an electric atmosphere off the pitch. It's just 1 point that splits the teams on it. Both teams will be desperate to try and get the early psychological advantage.
I think a wonderful mix of experience and control, and then just pure individual brilliance. You know, there are players out here who are doing things. What happened there in the last 2 minutes of that first half was probably a summation of it. A great Australian try, and then Freddie Michalak bouncing back with his own. And I think the two sides are really stamping some authority on the game here.
So many individual match winners just turn a game on its head in an instant. Smith plays scrum half. Arkham, Mortlock to Giteau, who didn't take it. Michalak got down on that one. France will want this quick ball, the turnover ball. It is so valued by top-class teams. Servat, Pelouse straightens up, wants to stay strong in the tackle, but upended and dumped by the Wallabies. Josian, Marsh, Giteau with the tackle. Just outside the 22. France get the pudding.
Well, if anybody thought these two sides were going to come out and change their style of play and kick to the corners, they'll be bitterly disappointed. I'm certainly not myself, because they're playing the same style of game they did for the first 40, and tell you what, it's going to wear them down. Australia will be very pleased. They've got a bench with David Lyons and Matt Rogers and Matt Dunning, and the kind of players who can make a real impact.
Well, the bunch might be used a little bit earlier than Australia might have wanted. Giteau, who's got some strapping on that knee from the first half, is down again. And Giteau is leaving the field now. France just get the ball back.
I think that's where Chris White pulled it up. Couldn't really tell who had the ball. Matt Giteau leaving the field. Looks like Elton Flatley will come on. Very experienced campaigner, played exceptionally well for Australia for the last couple of test matches. It's been a very, very healthy thing for the two of them to have two guys of the same quality who can fulfill that role, and he'll just slot straight in at 12 outside Stephen Larkham.
And Elton Flatley, of course, brings a nice cool boot to proceedings, as England found in the World Cup final. He doesn't suffer from nerves when it comes to penalty kicking, but here is France, and Josian Elisal just gets hold of that one. Amons, who's quick and slippery, trying to work his way outside, but Mortlock had him covered. Pounced on him. Michalak mixing it up, tipping and trying to collect. Smith goes back, it's still loose. Michalak plays scrum up. Servat now puts his head down and charges. Latham stopped him. Elisal, Josian. And now France set up that midfield position through Marconnet. Aaron Nordicki tries to spin and roll his way out of contact. Elisal, Michalak now, big looping pass. Marsh, and through go France, it's Rougerie. The crowd erupt, but France aren't quite there. Michalak, Magna. Magna draws his man Pelouse out to Betson. Rathbone comes up and clatters into him. Now France to take it round the fringes.
Offside there.
Magna knows that the penalty was coming, he didn't want to play on.
6 called offside. 6.
It's George Smith that's been called offside by the referee.
Offside there.
That's the importance of the points to these guys. They know that once their chance is gone, France went through, and then Australia regained composure, regained their communication. They could talk and they spread their defences. And Magna realised they weren't going to cross the line, certainly not from a static start, and just chipped the ball out so that Elisald could have a crack at the poles.
Well, there is not going to be an easier penalty for Elisald, who is straight in front. There's an open goal. And it is 3 points.
Extends the lead there. France showing a very, very good combination between the forwards and the backs. You know, the big strong backs take it up. The forwards have been looking after the ball. Even down on the left-hand side of the field there, Servat took it up, and Betson was on his one side, and then his wing Cedric Heymans was on the other. So they understand each other, and they understand how important it is to look after that possession that they fight for at every loose ruck and loose maul.
France will be so pleased that when they went into the red zone, they came out with points. They spent a lot of time in the Wallaby half. Now the Wallabies will try and take this possession. They want to start playing rugby in the right territory as they perceive it. They have the possession, they have the put in. Emilio Servet and Marconnet there at the front row for the French. Gregan puts the ball in. He's only missed 10 tests in the decade since his debut in 1994, Gregan. His 104th cap tonight. Smith that went through, scores a penalty.
Elisald and Gregan giving each other a little bit of a hard time here. Elisald telling Chris Wright that he's not putting the ball in, and Chris Wright just resetting the scrum and allowing Australia a decent platform to attack them.
Reset again. Gregan's patient. He's just signed another 3-year deal with the ARU, shows his ambition. Will he overtake Jason Leonard at 114? Philippe Selar at 111. He's only 31, but he won't like the way that arm is raised. Zal Baxter has been penalised by Chris White, and so the potential territory and pressure has been relieved now to Bruce. Bruce has missed his touch. Latham, he hits it such a long way. Elisald, Magna. Now will we see the French run? Magna decides to put his shoulder to Smith, and Smith brings him down. Bruce, make sure it's safe this time.
20-25 metre gain up the field. It's a cold, crisp night. The guys aren't hitting the ball like they would like to. Once or twice, I think the ball has gone up, but a couple of them, you know, kicking for touch, has sort of curled back into the field. Certainly the French will be disappointed with not having a line out on the far side, on the far 10 metre with a nice attacking platform. But a bit of aerial ping-pong going on, and Australia got an attacking ball.
Jeremy Paul to throw it in, and it's now Rowe, who's carved his way through in the first half once, and is a dangerous customer. Gregan, Larkham, and now it's Mortlot, big and strong. Paul has regained the shirt, the number 2 shirt. And now it's the Wallabies working their way through the phases, trying to pick up a head of steam. Baxter trying to pull in a few backs. Marsh there making the tackle. Big open side. Still working the short side. Gregan has been pulling his runners into that short side quite often tonight. Latham is right across. Goes down so well, and now maybe France think there's a chance to counter, but Michelat, well, it squirts off his left boot.
Interesting to see the mindsets though. The whole French backline suddenly saw that possession had turned around. Great skills there from Serge Betson. Knee to the head for his trouble, but managed to hold it. Sort of the one arm reached out there, and he hung on to it. The French turned around possession, and then the backline started attacking from within inside their own 22. So we understand exactly what they've got in mind here every time they get the ball.
Ball then to Smith. Gregan bashing it up short. Rathbone. George Smith again.
It's okay.
Counter-rucking from France, and they have it. Magna, who is quick, and now piling his way over the top of Rathbone. Salden, Betson, who was flat. Betson, who is well over the gain line there. Rougerie, Michelak, Josian. Head down goes Servat. Australia trying to slow it up. They do momentarily. Now France playing territory. Latham's got hold of this one. Hurried a little bit by Heymans. Bruce knocked that one back. Servat. Oh, it's physical out there. Nobody is giving an inch. Michelak and Josian. Michelak comes round on the loop, and the pass wasn't perfect, but it falls for Rougerie. Wallabies were steaming up there. Magna. 4 points the difference. One moment of brilliance turned this match. Penalty. France. Wallabies retreat, and this is kickable.
George Smith will be filthy with himself there. I think he realised he was offside and just reached over and looked up at the referee, and the arm went up, just preventing the ball from coming out. Quick ball, and France have been interacting, like I said earlier, so well. There he has a go at it, has a look up, and then has another go. And it's the second go that got him. Chris Wright said, no, it's too many chances, my friend. The ball's out and it's solid, and it's one on the French side, and rightly so, I think, in that instance. But it means that Elissalde has got another crack at 3 points.
The Wallabies cannot afford to let France get too far away. Elissalde will try and extend the lead. He's got it.
Deservedly, Betson was outstanding on the gain line, getting over the advantage line. Magna was brilliant as well, putting his head down. Aronaudici doing a lot of extra work around the rucks and the mauls, and Elissalde just putting the icing on the cake there by stretching the lead. And France, I think, are looking a little bit more accomplished than they were in the first half, and perhaps every now and again getting over the advantage line that was so rock solid in Australians' defence in the first half.
Bernard Laporte will be very pleased at the scoreline, because you can see reads 18-11. One converted try behind. Wallabies are well capable of making up the difference in an instant. So hoist that one high. Rougerie is tall. Takiri is pretty smart in the air as well. Smith, Larkham, Mortlock gets his way through his opposite number, Marsh, but he's dragged down. Smith to Gregan, and working his runners forward. A pick and drop. Gregan knows there's nothing going on out wide, so decides to go himself. It's up to the Wallabies to keep ball now. Pick and drive. Smith looks up. He meets a blue wall. Gregan, little dink through. Good work. Mortlock can't quite take it. It's sat up nicely for him. Very nicely.
Fantastic skills there. I think it was from Stephen Larkham. Put a great little kick through for Sterling Mortlock. Put an extra bit of pressure on the toe part of the kick. You'll see it here. He just thumps it into the ground and creates a ball that's popping up, getting ready for Sterling Mortlock. I think I'm giving the credit to the wrong man. There it was Elton Flatley who came on and pushed it through the gap.
George Cregan giving his take on the front row battle.
I'm sure he'll keep Chris Wright well informed of what France are going wrong.
Aeronautic steams off the back of the scrum. It's making the angle a little bit better for Bruce, who now gets it, who's being put on a lot of pressure. It was touched by George Smith. Rathbone, Latham tips it through, given a bit of a nudge by Betson. The ball is nasty, and again, there's a great chance for Australia. The ball is so open for either side there. Latham couldn't quite collect it. Wow.
Tony Marsh saving his country 7 points there. Chris Latham always does that. He's like a magician, pulling tries out of a hat. He's unbelievable. Takes the gap, almost regathers. Created a lot of consternation here for 60,000 people. But Tony Marsh got back and saved it. It was a knock-on, but he's caused a scrum instead of a try.
Ball bouncing kindly for Tony Marsh on France on that occasion. The Wallabies lined up one behind the other behind this scrum. Here we go. And France are trying to make a mess of this Wallaby scrum. And they've done exactly that. There's a lot of chat about France trying to squeeze the Wallabies in the tight, and they managed it there. Here is Takiri. Wallabies are going to have to run from their own halfway line, try to conjure something special, and Takiri's after this one, playing territory and pushing France back close to their try line.
Takiri's shown a lot of experience on the left wing this evening. He's been very good with the boot, been good on attack, he's also been good on defence. France got away with a very, very good counter scrum there and managed, I think it was Josian who knocked it all the way up the field, and Takiri's put them back almost on their own 5-yard line. And it's only an experienced player who makes decisions to put Australia on the front foot again.
Australia trying to steal that ball, putting a lot of pressure on the Servat line out. Elisal, box kicks there, Takiri has got hold of it, keeps it in. Well played Takiri. Betson with the tackle from Latham. Larkham has a look and decides to leave it to his forwards. George Smith hit with that double tackle. The ball pops up nicely though for Larkham. It's quick ball, it's what Wallabies want. Not quick enough here, but they'll be very happy with the penalty. Now then, what will they do? Poke it for the corner or try and go for the uprights? It's a captain's call.
And I'd be thinking here, let's get some points. And George Cregan's taken the same decision. They're going to try and get closer and closer, inch closer to that difference that the French have managed to stretch out between them, because as we've seen in the first half and right up until now, it's the little things that are making the biggest difference. And if this decision is the right one, it puts them close enough to score a 5-point try to win the game.
Open Flattery in his 35th test. Skipper believes in him. Does he believe in himself? Will be at the outer edges of his range. His effort will be welcomed by the boos. For Australia. He's got the distance. Oh, that is bang on target.
This is a man who doesn't miss a kick in a World Cup final. You certainly can't put him off with a cup of booze here. He's been away on tour with Australia many, many times before, and he's played in stadiums like this. This is his stage. This is his platform.
What a strike. off the bench and straight into the thick of it. Rowe calls for that one. Takes it with confidence. Of course, keeping David Lyons out of the team. Larkham, this pass, and maybe a bit of adventure from the Wallabies. Inside their own 22, Takiri was closed down. Betson, who is so good at getting hold of the kicker, did just enough of a job there. Now the Wallabies far too back from where they wanted to be. Larkham not happy.
French have got an attacking line out and halfway into the Australians' 22, and the entire French team in a packed stadium have got one man to thank, and that's Serge Betson. He has been large and in charge on the field today, and it was again he reeled in Stephen Larkham, put the pressure on that caused them to have a rather panicky kick out in their own 22.
Aaron Ordeke, the vice-captain, and calling the line out to himself. It works well, and now France pile on towards the Wallaby line. The pick and go then from Aaron Ordeke, Elisald, and Michalak wants two. Michalak is so close. Did he get the ball at the base of the post? That would have been a try. The referee says play on. Desperate for the Wallabies. France set themselves. A crucial moment in this match. That's out, says the referee. And the Wallabies drive the ball carrier backwards. The whistle is gone.
The tempo of the game is unbelievable. Full war in there, fighting for every inch and every piece of possession. I'm not sure what Chris Wright's going to call it. I'll be very interested to see who he adjudged to be going forward, because he's given it a French ball.
5-metre scrum, France.
He's given it a French ball, and they were certainly on the attack. A great drive off the back of the line out there, and then a nice pickup again from Aaron Ordeke. Got them into a position where Michalak almost scored, pushed it against the base of the post.
William Servat is coming off, and Sebastian Bruno, who's been on form this season for Sale Sharks, is right into the thick of it, and what a moment. Young, Paul and Baxter. Time for them to step up here in the scrum for the Wallabies. But France have it through Aaron Ordeke, and it's through! Bruce is just dragged down short, just a metre short. Advantage being played to France. Now, round the fringes. France want to take the 5 points, and it's Magna. Still advantage being played to France. Michalak looks at the drop goal and decides to run it, and it's Josion. Flicks it up to Rougerie. They'll go back for the advantage that was being played. Straight in front of the post. It's a gimme 3 points. Magna's down.
Magna looks like he's in considerable pain there. He's rolling on his shoulder, feeling uncomfortable, but he's been working exceptionally hard on and off the ball this afternoon. The French team, I think, realised they had the penalty and then took it back. Not the best delivery here from Aaron Ordeke, but how close was this? Dragged down inches short, and that's where Chris Wright gave the penalty. He said he wasn't released on the ground. Michalak, I think, realising he had the penalty advantage and not going for the drop goal at that stage.
So Elisald will knock over another easy one. France extend their lead, putting the onus on Australia now to do something very special if they're going to pull it from the fire.
The tension just stays there, hangs in the air. Australia, the control, the experience, the temperament. France, a little bit of brilliance, and the working together. It's a fantastic mix for a game.
Larkham Dinks it up in the air. Josion rolls his way out of the tackle, but bumps into his own man. Small error, will it have a significant ramification? Australia had a good midfield position like this previous, but France turned it over, and again the Wallabies are lining up one behind the other behind this scrum. Now they split, and it's out, and France have it. Not the prettiest, not by a long chalk. And the front rows are having a few words with each other. Toulouse knows he's been in the middle of it. Well, Young and Marconnet were talking to each other. Don't know if either of them knew what the other was saying.
Just exchanging formalities and pleasantries, I think. But it's been flagged here. Jonathan Kaplan's coming from the side.
Pushing and pulling, he says. Doesn't sound too serious.
I think 3 blue, 1 gold, having a bit of a hug and a chat after the scrum. Not too much. He said something about handbags, so I don't think it was too intense in front there.
So Marconnet and Bill Young come, continue their chat.
Chris White just explaining to them the basics of why Australia had lost the ball. I think always losing a scrum if you're a front ranker is something you want to chat about and fight about and argue about afterwards, and justly so. Let's let them have their say.
Smith tried to take it at the front, but it's a penalty to the Wallabies, tackled in the air. And can the Wallabies make the tide turn now against Les Bleus? No, Flatley can hit the penalties easily from this range. The posts it is. France 21, Australia 14.
Quarter of an hour to go. It's a crucial point in the match. If they get close enough, Australia will have enough in their tank, I think. But the French have shown composure, they've shown attacking form, they've shown a bit of flair. They need to get into that Australian 22 again, and this time put a 7-pointer on, not just the 3.
Eddie Jones looks nervy. Elton Flatley does not. He just gets on with his job. Gets on with the process.
Fantastic player to have on your bench, a lot of experience. Started as a real youngster and an absolute dead accurate goal kicker.
You talked him up, Bob. Oh dear.
Hardlines Elton, that'll always happen to me. As soon as I said he could put it squarely between the uprights, he didn't. But record that, you're not often going to see it. He's an exceptionally good player and a very good kicker as well.
Edsal missed a pretty straightforward one very early in the match. Michelak hits it long. Latham looks up, steps off his right, gets tackled. They're in France's half. Paul spills that one, advantage France.
Serge Betson again, big tackle on the arm of Jeremy Paul as he was trying to distribute.
Mannion. Advantage over. Josion to Michelak. Puts that one downfield. Latham. Spiralling left kick. Again, it's these small turnovers that France will lap up. We talked about this battle of the back row.
We certainly did, and I think on the field today we've got a couple of exceptional ones. I know George Smith and Phil Waugh are amongst the best fetchers in the world, but Serge Betson has been fantastic this afternoon. His defence has been brilliant. Looks like Wendell Saylor has joined us on the field. Wendell affectionately names his biceps Jack and Sledge, the Hammer brothers. So he'll be wanting to get them to the play as soon as possible.
Rathbone's evening is over. Wendell Saylor is a top-end match winner.
I think you can expect Wendell Saylor to be taking the ball up over the advantage line and setting up a few platforms for the rest of the backs to run it.
Rowe takes it. Now Larkham, and here is Saylor straight into the action. Still well there by Michalak. The Wallaby backs try and work their way over the halfway line. They will do now. They have the penalty as the game goes into the last 10 minutes. Mortlock hasn't seen much free space tonight.
He certainly hasn't there. Manya giving a little bit of extra attention, I think, while on the ground. Tough one to call though. Chris White has been pretty spot on all day. I think he's had a good evening on the park, and he hasn't been favouring anybody else, or either of the sides, especially when they're 4 tearaways on the park, all focused on the ball.
Converted try would bring the scores level. France just eyeing up their opposite numbers, trying to check out and work out where the ball's going, trying to pilfer this Wallaby ball. And it's knocked back, it's sloppy, but France won't mind that. Rougerie gives that a heck of a thump. France have worked into the Wallaby set piece a wee bit.
Yep, they've done exceptionally well. They've kept a jumper up at the front of the line out to disrupt them a little bit. They've turned over a couple of crucial scrums. They'll be pleased with their set play, and they'll be pleased with their defence as well.
Regan, Larkham, Mortlock trying to hitch kick his way through. Regan, Saylor. Regan again picks his man, it's Larkham, and Latham comes in on that short ball, but it's an advantage being played to France, and Elisal says, right, work it from there. Australia, Rougerie is steaming down on this one. Larkham goes back, he's read the threat. A penalty goes France's way. Larkham didn't get up, he held on to the ball. And it was that turnover.
Excellent play there from Rougerie. Look at the pressure he puts on Stephen Larkham. Just keeps his mind, keeps his head, doesn't try and dive on the ball at all, and waits for the referee to give the penalty. Tony Marcher as well. He understands immediately that they've won the ball. Good play there by the French backs.
It came from Latham that spat it out of contact. Elisal got hold of it. Put in such a cute kick.
Jersey showing the attentions there of the Australian forwards. I think there's a bit of give and take. Fabien Pelous certainly won't mind that. He's dished out a bit himself in the past, and is a really, really tough customer. Nice guy to have in your team. But this is where the game has been won and lost. The advantage line. Who's looking after it? Who's keeping it? Who's not? Bruno having a go at the ball there. Australia keeping it this time, but the next time, Chris Latham just knocking the ball on in the tackle.
Elisal, he makes it look so easy. Thank you, he says. But it's all down to him, and Laporte knows how crucial a kicker of this quality is.
Keep chipping away, keep putting the lead, I think.
Matt Dunning wants to come on. He is on.
That's the end of Bull Young. Matt Dunning is an enthusiastic youngster. Doesn't have too many tests, but certainly will be around in the Aussie front row for a long, long time to come.
So we'll have another stoppage. Manya's down, but not for long. He knows what a big scalp this would be to take the Wallabies here. Bruno right in the middle there. France beginning to get the nudge on before Gregan put that ball in. Free kick being played to the Wallabies. Gregan takes it quickly. Mortlock offers an option. Dunning takes it up a couple of metres. Gregan digs, and French tacklers coming up very quickly. Gregan, Larkham, Latham. And it's an advantage being played to France, but they won't play on. And Larkham has damn near lost it. He did fly at Heymans, and something's going on.
Stephen Larkham, I think, took exception. Heymans dived in and tried to chip the ball ahead, and I think those studs ended up somewhere near Stephen Larkham's chest. One of those unfortunate incidents. I certainly don't think he did it on purpose. He was going for the ball, and his foot and knee ended up in Stephen Larkham's face, who went straight for him. Luckily, not too many punches thrown, I think, but I'm sure Jonathan Kaplan will fill us in.
He says that Kaplan says that Heymans went in with his feet. Chris White is asking for which decision to give. There's a nasty one. Larkham did not like that one at all. He wasn't interested in the ball. He went straight after Heymans. But it may be the man who retaliated that is going to get pinged. We'll see.
Okay, we've had a very nice game. That's the point there. Somebody's come in. Okay,
Chris Wright just explaining the situation.
The advice is the penalty is against you first of all.
And I think explaining just that, Will.
What happened next? Okay, it's reversed against him for coming in. Retaliation. That player, number 10.
So the retaliation has done for Australia in this instance. Heymans was going to get penalised for going in with his feet, but then Larkham, by retaliating, has reversed it.
Unfortunate turnaround there. I don't think Stephen Larkham was too pleased with what had gone on, but I certainly wouldn't say that Cedric Heymans is the kind of guy who would go in there to try and intentionally hurt him.
Lyons is on, and War comes off, and Rogers is now lurking at fullback.
Credit to Chris Latham. I think he's had a good game tonight. Matt Rogers got a big set of boots to fill.
Stolen. Latham now off the pitch, and it's up to Matt Rogers, who couldn't quite find the ball there. It's really loose. It's Wendell Saylor. Both sides can strike from anywhere. Wallabies now from deep within their own half. The tackles are coming in. Gregan couldn't get his paws on the ball there. But now it's France who have the turnover. It's Marsh and Josian, and George Smith comes in with a hit, but Josian carries on, and they have the advantage, France. Elisal just knocks that one out. He knows he's got the penalty. He knows he can hit the 3 points from here. George Smith is in trouble. It was a shoulder. It's dangerous, says the referee. It's a penalty to France.
Nice, consistent. You'll just see a bit of a shoulder hit. Not a proper tackle effort from George Smith. Unfortunately, Josian ducked into it a little bit. You can see he didn't go through with it, and probably a lot like Manya's penalty that he gave away. Chris Wright made a call. He's certainly not trying to hurt him, and it certainly has got in his favour that he hasn't given out any yellow cards and has maintained the status of the game.
Marconet is back up on his feet. Elisal has eyes for only one thing, and that is the target between the uprights. Time is running out for the Wallabies. Elisal watches and enjoys. There's a minute or so of normal time left. Joe Massot on the left and Bernard Laporte can smell quite a victory now.
They certainly can. A lot of work to do for Australia to get back into their half.
The The Wallabies need to strike, and they need to strike quickly. Mortlock clambers into the air and gets hold of it. Possession is the first thing that the Wallabies want, and they've got it. Nearly up to the 22 now. Working this short side again. The ball is spilled. Paul couldn't take it. France will take this one gratefully. Sal. Well taken, Wendell Saylor. Gregan. Larkham. Matt Rogers. Larkham again. And Takiri is waiting out wide. And now Takiri is steaming. Can he stay in field? The flag is raised, so no try. Takiri thought it was try time for him, but the touch judge said no.
Unlucky Lottie Takiri. I'm sure we'll get a close-up of that. Here he is, he's beaten the first man round Rougerie. And there it was, just the heel landing on the touchline.
Good
We
call
said it was
from
a
Dave
game
Pearson.
we said it was a game of inches, Will.
Oof. The vice-captain Aaron Nordicke can breathe again. Into injury time, Aaron Nordicke, who calls the line-outs, taking responsibility.
Leave his head, leave his head. Careful, tranquil. That's on, wait, out.
France looking for a clean clearance. Takiri taking it quickly. Rogers looking up, trying to splinter France. He's so dangerous, they get hold of him. But the Wallabies will not give up until the final whistle. Penalty Wallabies going in the side.
It's where you came from is the problem. The ball was out because you were offside.
Gregan tap and go. Penalties are no good now for them. Rowe taking it up. Harrison ducking his way back. Gregan, Larkham. Just caught by Betson. Betson's been influential in this match, just making those last-ditch tackles. Gregan inside now to Jeremy Paul from Flatley. France are trying to drive them back. Smith does very well just to scoop it back because it was man and ball. Lions round the fringes now. The clock though ticks on, and the Wallabies are pretty much out of time, but they want the 7 points before their evening is over. Larkham and Rogers into the 3rd minute of injury time now. Play on, says a referee. Maybe a last moment of brilliance from the Wallabies. Smith still full of running. But now France tried to whip the ball. Time off, says the referee, not full time. It's going to be a French scrum.
It looks like Cedric Hamel's going back on, but what a game so far. Freddie Michalak has been so influential. Nice to see Christophe Dominici back on the park. He's faced the fields of French rugby for a long time now as a wonderful player, adding to his tally of caps. He's been playing exceptionally well for Start France.
1 minute 20 seconds left to play. France know they have it in the bag. Instructions are still being handed down to the playmakers. Michalak, what a try, what a moment for him just before half-time.
Magical mix today of grit and determination. We can see the blood and the bandages and the sore players. We can also see the points, and soon we'll see the elation of the French players. I understand how big it is to win, to beat Australia, you know, whether you're at home or away.
Julien Bonner coming on now. Everyone wants a taste of it, and Bernard Laporte is quite happy to give the substitutes a run, even for just over a minute. Nordicke picks up and stays strong as his forwards bind onto him. Happy he worked the clock down. as they maul their way upfield. There's nothing Australia can do at the moment. They try and drive back, but France now peel off. Maybe one moment of magic left. Josian shuttling his way upfield. Elisald. And now it's kicked deep. It's Wendell Saylor, and he's going to have a crack at this. Looking to go on the outside. Dominici just about stops him for long enough. It's out, says the referee. Harrison flings it wide to Larkham. Now Lyons straightens up. Tackle still comes thumping in. Surely this is the last play. Harrison forward, the only which way he knows. Smith waits. Advantage being played. Penalty Australia. And they'll tap and go here. Paul. Still so physical. Well into injury time. Gregan. He was caught. He delayed his pass. Gregan's got it again. Little flip from Smith, and it could yet work for Takiri, who so nearly scored just a few minutes earlier. Takiri flips it back to Rowe. Wallaby still pressing. Gregan, Smith dinks it through. France go back. It's anybody's. It's a 22, says the referee. Mortlock couldn't get it down. And there is the final whistle. The crowd erupt. The French hands are raised.
What a magnificent game, a mix of skill and flair, experience, exuberance, brilliance. These guys have been going at it for 85, 90 minutes almost, and have really shown the rest of the world that you don't have to be in perfect conditions to play running rugby and attacking rugby, and you can mix it in with a bit of defence as well.
Oh, it means so much. All players played their part. Betson was instrumental. But what a cracking game. Bernard Laporte knew it was so close. At 40 minutes, it was anybody's, but Pelouse will be the victorious captain tonight.
He'll be exceptionally pleased. He's led this team well, and he's played for them, and he plays out of his skin every time he does, but he understands the power of the victory, you know, to bring these guys together, and that's what France have needed for a while now, to maintain their position in world rugby.
Pelouse has been in one heck of a physical battle. All of them have, and it was exciting to the last moment. Mortlock couldn't quite get there. The final score here, it's France 27, Australia 40.
Well, you don't suppose Nicolas Brusque will mind the Astro Burns. Fabien Pelouse and his men have done their nation proud this evening. They look the better side for the majority of that match. And encouragement as well for England, with Australia still to come, of course, at Twickenham.